There are some calls that I hate talking about, and this is one of them. This call has left me very unsettled for a few months. Not because of the call itself, but because of the outcome. This call especially bothers me now due to the fact that I'm an expecting mother. I always figured that children were the end-all be-all of innocence, unless a child has grown up in an unhealthy environment. They would turn out to be good kids, or relatively good kids, that is. You hear about people like Dahmer, who had such a rough childhood, which explains why he is the way he is. But that's not always the case, and I've witnessed it firsthand. The reason I say this is because this call was made from a child who had grown up in a good home, with good parents, and had a good life. Of course, for confidentiality reasons, the names have been made up. This call came in around 9 p.m. on a Wednesday night from a wealthy neighborhood a couple years ago. 911, what's your emergency?
I think I need some help.
A voice of a child came over the phone. Okay, buddy. What's your name?
My name's Carson.
Carson. That's a cool name. Can you tell me what happened?
I don't think she's going to wake up.
He sounded emotionless. Who?
Alexa,
Who's Alexa?
my little sister.
Okay, so what happened? Where are your parents?
Mommy was really sad. I was playing with Lex and she started to cry.
Where's your mom now?
She's gone. I don't think she loves me anymore. She was really sad.
Hey, don't say that. Of course she does. Why was she mad at you, and where's your dad?
He's working. He's always working.
He sighed deeply.
Mommy said I was a bad boy and was really mad at me, I think.
He sounded annoyed. Why was she mad at you? Did you do something?
No!
He yelled through the phone.
I was just playing. I didn't mean it. Sometimes Lex makes me so mad.
He was calmer now, but still sounded annoyed. And why does she make you angry, Carson?
She plays with my toys and then breaks them or puts them in her mouth. It's so annoying and gross.
I had a bad feeling in the pit of my stomach that something wasn't right. So she was playing with one of your toys and you got mad, right?
Yes, she keeps trying to eat my Legos. They're my Legos.
What did you do to Alexa, Carson?
I hit her and then put her to bed, silly. That's why she won't wake up.
He giggled, and a shiver was sent down my spine. I need you to do something for me, okay? I waited for him to acknowledge me before continuing.
Okay.
Where's Alexa now? Can you put your hand on her chest? Is it going up and down? Is she breathing, Carson?
I put her in my toy box. She's sleeping with my teddy.
I started to feel uneasy as I typed in more details for the dispatch. And why did you put her in the toy box?
She likes it in there. We always play in there.
Okay. Can you grab her and try to wake her up for me, please? I heard him walk about his house, and then he put the phone down. He then opened what I assumed was the toy box and kept saying,
Lex? 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 She's not waking up.
Okay. Where was your mom when all of this was happening?
She was making me a snack. Popcorn. It's my favorite.
Hey, that's my favorite too. Even though I was severely creeped out, I tried to remain calm and collected. The police will be there in less than a minute. Run over the front door and unlock it, okay? They'll need to go in and get you.
Okay.
He quickly agreed, and I heard him run throughout his house. The rest of the call, we chit-chatted about how old he was, and that he was 6.5, and what he liked to do for fun. That was one of the first times I was ever questioned about a call, and I had to go to court. This little boy wasn't as innocent as he presumed, and that eerie feeling I felt while talking to him was for a good reason. When the police entered the home, they found the body of an 11-month-old child who had been beaten to death, And since Carson had admitted to me over the phone that he'd gotten mad about his little sister for playing with his toys, it was said that he took his toy and hit her over the head multiple times, resulting to her death. A friend of mine who was sent out on the dispatch described the situation as being horrific in the sense that Carson looked like any normal kid, but didn't act like one. They found drawings in his room of animals and people that looked to be dead. The officer, my friend, described Carson as being cold and unsettling. He said he had trouble going home to his own kids after meeting Carson. Upon further questioning, police found out that this was not Carson's first time hurting something. He had a long history of violence and was very aggressive when he was angry. His father stated that they had previously owned a cat and that Carson had gotten mad at it because it bit him, so he killed it. The parents assumed that it was an accident because he was always a good kid. Apparently, he never gotten into fights at school and wasn't bullied despite having a short temper and being a little different. His only problem was that he just had no sense of remorse. Unfortunately, Carson and Alexa's mother was found after the police arrived. She had never even left the home. She had gone to the garage and took her own life. She left a note, and the contents of the note were not disclosed in court when I was there, but according to my friend, it explained a lot. Obviously, Carson ended up being hospitalized, but there was never any news about it. Everything was kept very hush-hush, and I suspect it was due to the wealth that this family possessed. There's nothing more awful than when a child dies, especially when you know that you were the last person that child talked to before they died. That part of dispatching will never get easy, and there will never be a time where I don't blame myself or beat myself up for not doing everything that I could, even if it seems like I did. There's always that what if that comes to mind. For confidentiality reasons, all names have been changed. This call came through on a Saturday night just after 10 p.m. 911, what's your emergency?
There's someone in my house.
A faint whisper was heard over the phone. Okay, can you tell me where you live and what happened?
My name is William. I live at... My mom and dad are on vacation, so I'm home alone.
Okay, William. Are you hiding right now?
Yes, I'm in my dad's office. I locked it from the inside. You need a key to get in.
Perfect. Is there somewhere where you can hide in there, just in case someone gets in? I need you to do that for me, okay?
Yeah, there is. I'm already under the desk. I'm too big to fit anywhere else.
That's great. How old are you? The police are on their way. We'll just keep talking quietly until they get there, all right?
I'm 11. My parents let me stay home.
That's super cool. You must have been really excited. His breathing stopped short, and I heard a faint sound of someone calling his name.
That's my grandma. She's been checking up on me.
He whispered. Are you sure she wasn't the one who was in the house when you called?
I saw the other people. They were wearing masks.
I was sending more details about the dispatch. Did they see you?
No, I don't think so. I was getting a snack from the kitchen when they came in through the back door. I ran right into my dad's office.
He started to hyperventilate. William, I need you to breathe. The police will be there. I was cut off by the sound of a woman screaming.
Grandma?
He whimpered and shuffled around, and I could hear him get out from under his desk. Stay where you are, okay? Don't move.
But my grandma.
He was sobbing into the phone. I know, William. She's going to be okay. Sometimes the best way to reassure someone was to reassure yourself.
They're trying to get in. I can hear them at the door.
His voice was low, and I could barely make out what he was saying. Okay, just stay put. Don't move, don't make a sound. The police will be there any minute. He was heavy breathing on the other line, and I could hear the sound of the lock on the door being smashed open. William, stay as silent as you can. I heard footsteps and the faint whispers of two people talking to each other.
I think they're gone.
William started to speak, but it turned into a scream. The phone fell to the ground, and I could hear the commotion of William struggling against the intruders in his home. They were swearing at him, and finally there was a thud.
What do we do with him?
The sound of a woman was faintly heard.
He saw our faces.
A man spoke.
He's just a kid.
She sounded upset.
And she was just a lady.
He stopped short, and then I heard him pick up the phone and end the call. The following day on the news, I found out what had happened to the boy and his grandmother. Unfortunately, neither of them made it. Although there's not much of a happy ending here, the best part of this was that there was a full-blown investigation, and the intruders were eventually apprehended and landed in prison where they belong. I want to explain a bit of what my city looks like. If you recognize this, please do not mention the location. My city is made up of 9 small townships, 9 ghost towns, 4 towns, and 7 Indian reservations that are spread out, which makes up a large district. Between these townships are forests, all of which are dense and dark. People get lost and never get found in all of them all the time. To get from one end of the city to the next could take a normal person at the speed limit nearly 2 hours. For an officer, 45 minutes to an hour. Teenagers are notorious for trying to explore the many ghost towns in this city, most of which are located off highways that are rarely patrolled because, 1, there's no reason for people to be out there, and 2, the roads are in really bad shape, overgrown, cracked pavement, no lighting, etc. Some of these ghost towns are extremely dangerous, and they have sinkholes, bad foundations, explosive material, and there's also a lack of cell phone and radio reception out there. There's fences and gates restricting the access of individuals into some of these ghost towns, but they're not to be trespassed. Of course, people rarely listen to that. This is one of those calls where I wish I could have done more for the person, that I wish I could have approached differently. Sometimes I'm left wondering that maybe if I had had more information, I could have saved a life. Once again, for confidentiality reasons, all names have been made up. 911, what's your emergency?
Hello?
Someone was sobbing on the other line. Yes, what's your emergency?
My boyfriend crashed the car, but I don't know where he went. Please help me.
She was crying into the phone. Okay, do you know where you are? What's your name, sweetheart?
Heather, my boyfriend's Jeremy. I can't see the road.
Do you know where you were coming from?
We were exploring, like, looking for abandoned houses and stuff. We heard about a house in... Jeremy? Jeremy?
She sounded panicked. I reached out to the telephone provider to get a better location, and within seconds, they responded. She was in the middle of nowhere. Okay, so you're around...
Yes, I think. I wasn't really paying attention, but I think so. There was a big red barn down by the road.
She was wheezing into the phone. I sent out the dispatch with need of an ambulance. Are you hurt at all? Are you still in the car?
I think I broke my leg. It hurts really bad. I feel dizzy. Do I get out of the car?
No, don't move. You might be more hurt than you think. We're just going to talk until the police arrive, okay?
Okay, but where'd Jeremy go?
Look around. Can you tell me what you see? The more description you can give, the faster the police can find you and Jeremy, okay?
I think I'm in the woods, off the main road. It's so dark out here. We were just driving, not even fast. But something was hunched over on the road, and Jeremy didn't want to hit it. So... Jeremy? Was that you?
She was hyperventilating now. Okay, keep talking to me. So you're on the passenger side, right? What about the driver's side? What does it look like?
Jeremy was driving. I think I hit my head because I can't remember what happened after we saw that thing. His door's open. Does that mean he's gone to get help?
That's great news. It means he was able to get out.
What was that?
Her voice was low. What did you hear? Heather?
I don't know. It sounded like an animal or something.
Heather, listen to me. Make lots of noise. It's probably a wolf or a coyote. You need to scare them off, okay? She started to bang off what I assumed was the dashboard while making random noises for several minutes.
I think it left. I'm not sure. I'm just so tired.
I know, but you have to stay awake for me, okay?
I don't know if I can. I can't feel my leg anymore. Is that bad?
Don't worry about that. Just keep talking to me. Did you find that abandoned house that you and Jeremy were looking for?
Yeah. It was really scary.
She sounded dazed, like she would fall asleep at any moment. I bet you can't wait to tell your friends about it when you get home. Did you take any pictures? She laughed a little bit.
Yeah, lots. It'll be super cool to show. Are the police almost here?
Yes, they're coming. How are you feeling now?
Dizzy. I'm tired. It's hard to keep my eyes open.
I know it is, but you have to keep them open. She began to cry. What's the matter? Why are you crying, hun?
My phone's going to die. I only have 1% left. What if the cops don't find me?
Listen to me, Heather. Even if your phone dies, you have to stay awake. You can't fall asleep, okay? Talk to yourself to keep yourself awake if you have to. The police will find you. They know where you are. I tried my best to sound reassuring, knowing that the ETA was still 9 minutes from the ghost town in which she was near.
Okay. Thanks for talking to me.
She sounded more and more tired by the word. You're welcome. I'm just doing my job. Police are almost there, okay? Just hang in there a little bit more.
I'm going to try to get out of the car.
No, Heather, you don't want to do that. You might be hurt somewhere else and you just don't know it yet. Please stay in the car.
But what if Jeremy needs me? What if he's hurt too?
I could hear her move around in her seat. Her breathing sharpened. The police will find him. That or he's made it to the road. Don't worry about him right now, okay?
Oh my god. Oh my god,
She was hyperventilating faster and faster. Heather, what's wrong? What happened?
my phone's sticking out. Oh my god.
The phone sounded jumbled as it fell from her hands. For what seemed like ages, I listened. My best assumption was that she had fainted from seeing her wound. In the midst of me listening, I heard branches crack beneath the weight of something. Not too long after that, the call ended. It took officers 3 hours to find the car near the ditch along the stretch of the road that they were on. Police were dumbfounded at how the car managed to get so far into the bush from just swerving off the road. Unfortunately, the 2 teenagers were never found.